So we just want to put a disclaimer out there. This episode might discuss topics like self-harm, depression, isolation. So if any of these hit close to home, please watch with caution or don't watch at all. We'd rather you have peace of mind than watch this episode. Hello, Munchkins, and welcome to the Lovers Chat podcast. You're here with Arena
and Agnesa.
Long time no see. Been a hot second. We are now doing it monthly, just for the time being. Quite busy, got university, education stuff, but we still want to provide you with enough value rather than doing it rushed throughout the weeks. So prepare for longer episodes. We're trying to combine everything together.
Perhaps if you really want to, you can watch parts of it every week as if it's a new episode.
Exactly. So we're going to do shorter clips regarding each section. We'll just quickly run through the structure of it. And they're going to be released weekly if you guys can't be bothered to listen to a whole. I'm estimating it to be about an hour and a half. I don't know if it's going to be more or less.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be about that.
But we do have a guest for you this month. You'll see who it is later.
Okay, super duper exciting guest.
Yes, we're very excited. Essentially, what the structure is going to be, we're going to get the boring stuff out of the way, talk through all the research. Then we're going to get the special guest, it'll be star of the month actually, rather than star of the week. Then we'll talk about our experiences, and then we'll end with kind of tips, takeaways, maybe a slight guide regarding the topic of the month. Speaking of the topic of the month.
So the main theme of this month's episode is mental health. And we were just discussing about the daffodils we have. The presence of flowers can improve your mental health. And they for sure do, because they're like blossoming and it's cute. They're yellow, they're bright, positive, sunshine.
So that's the vibe of February. Yeah. I feel like also February is the month where you start thinking about spring and you start entering kind of a new season anyways. So it's a good step forward, especially because in the winter people tend to be more inclined to seasonal
for sure
affliction on their mood.
And I think February is definitely still hard for seasonal depression.
Yes, indeed. So we're hopefully setting the tone for you guys.
Positive vibes only this month.
Indeed. Get yourself some flowers. Aldi, we saw Aldi tulips were £2.
Oh, I love tulips.
Go get some flowers, honestly. If you can't afford Sainsbury's ones, valid, go to Aldi.
These are literally £1 from Sainsbury's.
Oh, well, there you go.
And you get them, they look like...
Don't be put off if the flowers don't look nice in the shop. They will bloom.
Yeah, they look, what is this? I don't know the term for it.
Unblossomed.
Unripe, basically. But literally give them a day, put them in water, and they'll blossom and look really cute.
Yeah. So that's our takeaway from the start. So go get yourself some flowers.
So, as we all know, mental health is a rising issue, with about 1 in 4 people experiencing mental health issues every year. Especially among the youth, there's around 33% of 17 to 24-year-olds who have reported with self-harming or attempting to self-harm at some point, which is quite shocking actually.
It's a third.
That's a really huge amount of people.
So if you have a friendship group of 3, at least one of you is struggling. Also, look out for your friends.
100%. But not even... I feel like it's so... Yeah, look out for your friends, but really look out for them, because I feel like a lot of people who struggle with mental health really don't talk about it enough, and unfortunately struggle very much alone. Because you never know what someone's going through.
Even if they don't seem like they're struggling, they might just be really, really good at hiding it.
Yeah.
And most of the time, people are good at hiding it because they've learned to cope with it for such extended periods of time. that they can now put a mask on in front of other people. So just make sure that you check up on people.
100%.
So, as Agnes mentioned, these are the stats that we are exposed to, people talk about, whether that's in schools or in the doctors, like you see up in the screens in GPs. But what's not spoken about? The mental cost of discipline, the mental cost of consistency and progress and training so intensely, and the challenges that come with training and also bettering ourselves. So in this episode, we aim to kind of talk about what exactly is the cost of training so hard regarding our mental health, and also just understanding our own experiences and the research around these topics.
So let's give you some research context before we get into our guest, because it's fun to learn new things.
Exactly, and we do want to provide value rather than just entertainment in a way.
If we entertain you, hopefully.
We hope we do. So the core angle of this podcast is exercise and well-being anyways. And while exercise has shown to be quite beneficial regarding combating mental health and combating depression, and it's one of the first things that GPs and doctors jump to when you go in going, oh, I'm struggling with my mental health. They're like, oh, how much do you exercise? How much do you walk outside? How much do you move your body? What's your diet like? It is the first thing that comes about in conversation. But there is a dark side. That sounds really morbid. But there are things that we don't initially see, especially if you are quite obsessive, you have quite a driven personality where you want perfection or you want close to perfection, and you become so locked in with bettering yourself that training might stop being as supportive for your mental health, and in fact it might actually be detrimental.
The World Health Organization defines mental well-being as balance, recovery, and adaptability, and that means not constant optimization. When training lacks flexibility, it can contribute to chronic stress rather than relieve it. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you're constantly trying to optimize everything in a very rigid manner, you're going to stress yourself out, of course. A lot of the time, chasing perfection can actually have, in a way, tip the balance to more negative
impacts. So there is a big part that plays towards this, especially in the growing world, and it could be a contributing factor to the increase of mental health problems, especially in youths, and that is shock horror, social media. And there's actually been studies on this, so I'm going to read this off the screen so I can get it right and not butcher it. But Bardoli, I apologise if I'm saying that incorrectly, mentions that exposure to Fitspiration imagery was associated with higher body dissatisfaction and negative moods. And while this is probably known to the majority of you, the fact that there is science behind it just shows how much of a negative impact that social media can have, especially regarding comparison, whether that is aesthetics, whether that is training. It can be really heavy, regardless of how you feel internally. Like, you could feel great about yourself, but then you go on social media and you see tens, hundreds of influencers or your friends doing so well, training so well, and you just your mood immediately switches to a comparative mindset where you're just like, oh, well, I don't look like that. I don't have quads like hers, a back like hers. I can't do 10 pull-ups in a row that effortlessly. I can't do this, I can't do that, and you forget everything you can.
And can I just mention that, especially for me, and I don't know how it is for other people, but I can only imagine it's the same, that it's not always as you were saying, it's not always straight. It is sometimes straight away you'll notice a shift in your mood, but it also isn't straight away. Sometimes it is very much personally for me, I know that it's a subconscious thing. I will see it, and then I'll just like almost feel this unease and I'll not be able to pinpoint it. But then deep down, when I like remove those things, like when I stop scrolling for like a day or like take a break and go do something else completely off my phone, I feel 100 times better. And it's not necessarily the content that I'm seeing that's making me upset, but it's very much like a subconscious thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely like putting your phone away, taking some time off. Social media does not bring you any sort of advantage unless it's your job, which where you're getting an income, where you need to build that community, where you need to build your followers, because that is how you make a living. Any other way, what benefit does social media give you? Does it give you information? Okay, cool, there are other sources of information, like the internet is full of it. If you need to research stuff, go on Google, don't rely on Instagram or TikTok. What, like, it just, there is no source of benefit from it.
I mean, I guess you're right in a sense, but also there are some benefits, I would say. It is a place where you can find inspiration and connect with other people for sure, but it's about the way you use it, um, the way you consume it, what you consume. It's just, I think the main point is to be so mindful of what you consume and the way you react to it, and to kind of notice in yourself, even not immediately, the way you react to whatever you see online.
Yeah. And it is, going on social media is a constant reminder, and it's a constant focus on how other people look, on how other people train. And that's going to keep rolling in your mind over and over again. And you're going to find little parts of your own training that don't align with other people's. And in the end, you end up chasing something that isn't yours, whether that's someone else's training, someone else's physique. Because the way that someone else looks isn't how you're meant to look. That's not you. That is not your end goal. It can be an inspiration. I'm not saying you can't look up to people who have a certain physique that you think, oh, I'd like to have, but that's not yours to have. You are here. Someone else can be here. You're not in the same path. Like, it's just completely not yours. You might be two parallel lines. You're not.
Yeah,
It's not for you.
yeah, 100% agree. Everyone is so individual that like you cannot possibly obtain the exact same physique as your inspiration, just because like it's not possible. Like we're we're not built exactly the same.
Same with training. Like, someone you look up to can train a certain way, you can train exactly like them and still not get the same outcomes, because your anatomy is different. Like, your mental capacity is different. Your physical abilities, while your potential is limitless, there are still different boundaries within what you can do. For example, if you have longer limbs, like, yeah, if you have longer arms, bench is going to take you a whole lot longer to get down there than it is with someone shorter arms. And that might mean that it's easier for someone with shorter arms to load bench quicker and progress quicker in that, even though you're training the same, because it's just going to take you a bit longer.
Yeah. But say then, if you have longer arms,
it's easier to deadlift.
Exactly. So, yeah, long-winded way of saying basically you are not the exact same as anyone else, basically.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with having inspiration. And I think as much as we're telling you, we're also telling ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're not ideal in this. We are also people who struggle with this. And as much as we talk about it, this is also for us as it is for you guys. So, on that, as we go through this research, we are actually going to talk about our experience, just because it ties nicer together than if we have just an experience section at the end. So, apologies if I mentioned that the structure was very rigid. It is not. We'll scrap that. So let's have some questions on this topic. How has social media influenced how hard you train?
It definitely has, is what I'll say. I suppose in a fact that just like I always see literally on the top of my feed insane videos of people training. Like, these are my like goals. And so it's like, to me, I'm constantly thinking, I'm in the gym and I'm constantly thinking like I should just train so much harder. Even if my body physically can't do it, I'm like forcing myself to do extra sets just because I've seen someone hit a certain number of reps, for example.
Yeah.
It's especially that, like, I'll just give an example, but like someone's put their workout plan and it's like 1,000 reps, 1,000 pull, 1,000 push. I'm like, I've got to get. I know deep inside I cannot for the life of me get 1,000 reps of pull or push or anything for that matter. But I'm like, because I've seen that and I've seen other people do it, I'm like, I must do it. And then I just end up like putting myself out of training for a whole week because I've like physically exhausted myself to the point where it's not right for me. So it definitely has impacted my training a lot, and I would say especially over the past year, as I've like just been more engaged maybe with the like especially calisthenics community. And that's not saying anything negative about it. It's actually insane how hard people train and what they can achieve, but I have to just remember that, like, I'm just a girl. I can't be like, I can't physically do that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I said, especially this past year, it's definitely increased my motivation like loads, but it's also impacted me. And then sometimes I'll finish a training, I'll be like, I feel like I've done nothing because I know what people do in their trainings. That was so long. What about you?
I get that. I think, if anything, it has a negative impact on my training. I think the positive impact of social media is that I'll find new exercises that I can incorporate. Actually, talking about this the other day.
Always.
I'm gonna butcher this name of. So, as some of you might know, injured, hip injury, and I went to the. One sec.
Can I just mention while she's finding it that it's like pretty often she'll send me a reel being like, I want to try this exercise. Can we try this? Will you come with me to try this exercise?
Yeah, have someone if you don't. This is so off topic, but if you don't have anyone to try it, it's genuinely not that daunting. Like, we tried an exercise that looked really sus.
Pretty booky.
And as soon as I got on, everyone else just clocked out. Like, I was thinking about the exercise. I wasn't thinking about what people thought of me.
And it was a really good one.
And it was a really good exercise. And that's the benefit of social media, I think, is that you get to find new exercises that can actually have a benefit to you. So what I was going to say was, I went to the physio and she explained what was wrong, what I needed to work on. And it turns out my internal rotation is weaker in my left side, hence the lack of stability, hence my hip hurting, in short. Obviously not everything, but... And she mentioned a muscle, and I'd seen a video like a week before and I wanted to try it that targeted that exact muscle. It's the obturator externus muscle in your lower glute. So it's like the very lower of your glute insertion there, and it helps with your internal rotation of the hip. And little did we know, social media is a legend for that, because it targeted that muscle so well, and now I can incorporate it as part of my physio. So it's obviously a benefit that I've gotten from social media. Yes, the physio gave me exercises, but she didn't give me that exact one, even though it targeted that exact muscle and that exact movement. So I could build on the information that she'd given me. However, other than that, seeing other people train actually kind of demotivates me, which is kind of counterintuitive if you think about it. Because if you think, oh, I see someone training, that's so cool, I want to get to where they are. But part of it is my mind just goes, I'm not going to get there in a way.
Yeah.
And I need to focus on what I can do, the progressions that I can do, and actually focus on my training. Because if I'm looking at other people, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, what exercises do they do? What are they going to do in this moment? Like, I wonder what they're training now. Like, my mind just becomes so preoccupied with them, and that's not the point. The point is myself. So
Yeah.
it actually makes me train less hard, which is weird.
Yeah. And so I think it's so important to like be so careful of what you consume. And really think about how it impacts you. Like, actually just sit there and reflect for a second. How does it impact me? And like, if it's necessary, don't look at it for some time. See if it changes.
Yeah. And how does social media impact comparison for you?
Oh boy. Yeah, this one's pretty tough. And this one is, I think, comparison on social media is the one that like is subconsciously in my head all the time. And not even just in like sport, fitness, or whatever. Is the one that's like constantly in the back of my mind in every aspect of my life, which is so, it's quite annoying, because now like it's come to a point where it's so difficult to like get it out now, because there's just so much. And so comparison, I would say, yeah, like for me personally, it's impacted me in a much more negative way, more so than in a positive way, in every aspect, because you see people in so many different stages of their life. They could be like the same age as you, they could be like 5 years older than, basically you see everyone. And obviously everyone's doing so many different things, and it's like constantly, I'm not there yet, I don't have that, I don't train this much, I don't earn this much, I don't study this much, or literally whatever it is. And it'll be like in studying as well.
It could even be like, I watch a lot of baking videos. It could even be like, it didn't turn out like that.
Yeah,
literally as little as that.
It's so overwhelming. It's like, it's mind cluttering for me. That's what it is. I feel like
agree.
My mind is just constantly thinking about other people rather than myself, or like just what I don't have versus what I do have. I feel like that's gone in a little bit of a
no, but I agree. I think
direction.
I've really been struggling a lot with it recently, and I find it tricky to talk about as well, because I can't explain the feeling. It's very inexplicable. I've had to delete social media, my main account, because I will constantly see incredible people with insane physiques, and I will constantly compare myself. And like I said, it makes me train less harder, and then that obviously turns into a negative loop where I'm not training as hard, then I see it, and then I'm like, oh, bugger, rats. Then it'll be like, I don't train as hard, and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, I'm even further away from the truth. Like, like even further away, and it will just be a negative feedback loop, and I spiral in my head, and I just go down such negative rabbit holes, because then I'll literally rabbit hole into people who are doing so well. I'll look at their accounts, I'll look at everything, and it's just so negative. And like Agnesa said, it is just mind clutter that you do not need in your head. And to be philosophical, we were not put on this earth to compare ourselves with other people. Social media is such an unnatural thing.
You're never meant to see this many people, like what this many people are doing. Like, oh, and you know what? I'm going to give an example.
Yeah.
So like, there was this video I posted, the one, maybe Arena, if you could insert it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a really wholesome video. Like, it genuinely, it made me smile so much, and that's why I posted it. There was like no other reason for it. I was like, and there was legitimately no reason for it. I thought it was so cute, and I just thought like that's a kind of like positive energy I want to put out into the world, and like inspire people and stuff. And it went viral,
Very viral.
which is not the point of what I was trying to do, but
She was nervous about posting.
100%. I just thought like, is it like weird? But then at the same time, like it genuinely brought a smile to my face every time I watched it. Anyway, that's not the point. But like some of the comments that were there were like, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Like, oh, I wish, I don't know. Anyway, they were just like,
it was about friendship.
It was
and
about
a lot
friendship.
of the comments were kind of upsetting because it was like,
In a
oh, I
way,
don't
yeah.
have friends like that, or I wish I had friends who supported me like that. And it's really
Yeah,
it's really
but I want
sad
to say,
see.
yeah, what I want to say is it's 100% really sad to see. But then as I'm sat there looking at them, I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I'm in a good place now with friends and stuff, and I love my friends who I'm surrounded by, but I've struggled so much with friendship literally like a year or two ago. Like this was not me
Things can change
years
so
ago.
quickly.
Yeah, like I was really struggling with friendship, and it just goes to show that like we literally cannot compare ourselves to something when we don't know the backstory. You don't know the backstory of anyone's life on social media. They're obviously going to portray themselves in a way they want to be perceived.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like a good example,
Yeah.
and I think maybe we should keep it in. But
Yeah.
I actually think it's just important to mention that you never know the reason for someone posting something or like their past experiences, because maybe they haven't shared them.
This doesn't move that smoothly on to the next part, but we'll just take a little jump. The next piece of research is regarding overtraining. And so let me give you the context first, and then we shall discuss. So, according to the British Journal of Sports Medicine, again, I will link everything down below, pop up the references on screen, just so if you guys are interested in doing a bit of further learning, it's there at your convenience and you don't have to go digging around for it in the internet. But what they mention is that mood disturbance is actually one of the earliest and most sensitive markers of overtraining. So it's not a physical feeling initially. It could include things like irritability, low mood, anxiety, poor concentration, and most likely a loss of motivation. And all of these will drop before your performance drops, before your body actually catches up to your mind. It's like saying the mind, like your mind gives up quicker than your body. And although a lot of people do use that in a motivational context, it's also true for the reverse. So your mind gives up before your body, and there will be signs like irritability, low mood, anxiety, stress, and you might not understand where it's coming from. You might be thinking, oh, I'm doing everything right, I'm training so much, I should be happy, but in fact, you're actually overtraining. And while overtraining to a point where it's like negative returns on your physical ability, I think is quite a difficult place to get to. Your energy is limited. You don't have limitless energy, and especially if you're working a 9 to 5, if you're caring for people, if you've also got other side hobbies that you want to be doing, whether that's learning a language, learning an instrument, you're cooking for yourself, you're trying to get your steps in, you're trying to read at least like a few pages a day, everything takes up energy. And overtraining will also cause you to get to that point of mental exhaustion quicker. So, all in all, overtraining isn't just physical. Do you want to discuss, or do we want to get into the questions?
Let's get into the questions.
Yeah. Firstly, have you ever been in a point of your life where you feel like you've been overtraining? If so, have you noticed the signs?
Well, I definitely have been in a point in my life where I've been overtraining, especially in my gymnastics career, I'd say. But maybe I didn't really quite notice the signs. I don't think I did notice the signs. The signs were probably there. I was probably like very irritable, like burnt out, but not knowing from what. Um, but I definitely think there were periods in my life where I was. I don't really know what else there. I wouldn't say so much now, actually, because I feel like now I'm older, I kind of know where my limit is. So it doesn't affect me so much. I don't really know what else to
Do
say.
you think you
that.
can spot those signs now and associate it with overtraining, or are you still kind of unsure as to what it's
Yeah, I think
attributed to?
I think it. If I was in that situation, I was overtraining. I probably would, like associate those symptoms with something else. Like it wouldn't really be. It's actually quite interesting because I've never really heard of what you're saying. So I would probably associate it with other external factors like hormones. I don't know.
I think it's especially hard for women because your hormones change so much and so drastically. Like 5 minutes in, you could be so happy, and then 5 minutes later, you're literally like overthinking or spiraling. You're irritable, you're angry for some unknown reason, and it's so difficult to actually separate what's from, whether that's burnout, what's from overtraining, what's from external factors of your life, and what's actually just happening internally in your body. And I wish I could tell you how to fix that, but I don't. We will do research. I think it's a good topic to do research on and try and give you as much value as we can. But in this current moment, I don't want to give you guys any misleading information because we don't actually know. But I think just trying to understand yourself, I think if anything, journaling is a good way to understand your own internal feelings and what's actually going on inside your mind, like what are you thinking in that moment. And obviously the two can be interlinked. I'm not saying that the two are mutually exclusive, but it is very difficult to pinpoint if it is actually overtraining.
Yeah,
but it's can't really
I understand what you're saying.
Here.
It's but it's an interesting point that maybe we should be more cautious of if you're training a lot, and you're noticing these things. Like it's just something to consider.
It's
like,
something to be aware
of. You will
of.
never be able to pinpoint it, I don't think. And it could be a mix as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's because when I was researching this, I was like, oh, whoa, I didn't actually realize that they were the first symptoms that it can actually be associated with stuff like overtraining. I just thought it was something else to do in my life. But the same way that you can get stressed out about too much work, you can get stressed out about too much training.
Do you think you've ever come to a point where you've overtrained and hence felt like that?
I don't know, maybe like you said in gymnastics. I think maybe also, I think looking back, it was probably not an immediate effect, to be quite honest. Like it's not immediately after you've overtrained that you feel that way. I think I had such a productive summer regarding training that come September, come October, I just
like burnout.
There were some external reasons as well, but I don't know. I just
I get that.
But it did feel like burnout. Like, but I didn't know what it was to do with. And looking back after understanding this, I could attribute some of that to overtraining because it makes sense timeline wise and also just everything wise. Wholly, it does make sense. And from my experience, then it might not come immediately after, and it might just be a period in your life where you have a month where you're just so low, training just feeling so heavy, and it could be following really good months where you've trained so well, where you've spent 4 or 5 hours in the gym if you do that, or you spent so much training outside, like calisthenics was predominantly outside, and you're just there at events for so long, like the events lasted so long because it was summer, you want to be outside, you're training, everyone's having fun, like it's a nice event, but you don't realize how much of an impact that has on you. So I think it was just delayed onset, overtraining.
Okay, just making up a new concept.
Delayed onset, overtraining, impact. Dewey. Cut. You could laugh at least.
I would laugh if it was funny.
Okay. But yeah, so it's just food for thought, essentially, for you guys. But another question arises. Why don't people train less, or why don't people try and avoid overtraining? Do you want to?
Yeah. So for some people, exercise becomes emotionally compulsory rather than beneficial, where exercise dependence is associated with anxiety, guilt, and training through injury or emotional exhaustion. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask you.
Okay.
Have you ever felt anxious, guilty for missing a workout? And I can answer this question for her. Yes.
Every day that it gets missed, even if it is illness, I don't feel like myself. It's very difficult to disassociate yourself from training, especially when you train so much. And I think a lot of people listening to this do train that much. And it is part of your identity. It's who you are. Like, it's when people ask you about yourself, it's one of the first things that you reply because your identity is so strong.
I'm an athlete.
Your identity is so strong. Your identity is so strongly correlated to sports, to your training, to how disciplined you are and how driven you are within that sphere, that missing it kind of feels like a betrayal to yourself. And I've definitely felt that now more than ever, I think. And again, it's something that's struggling, and maybe that's why social media is having such an impact on me at this moment, because there's just such a misalignment with who I am and sometimes how I show up for myself. And it's not nice to hear, it's not nice to analyze on yourself, but taking accountability and realizing that is the first step forward. But that isn't to say that you should train through injury, you should train through illness, because you have to think about the long term rather than just the short term, and rather than just your identity. Our dog's throwing up. It looks like I've got a bald patch there. Guys, I'm blonde, so parts of my baby hair
doesn't. Anyway.
What about you?
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of the time it's because like I have different priorities at the time. Like, let's say I have an assignment and I just can't make it to the gym that week, or I have like a really busy week. I'm like working, going to uni and stuff, and I like physically don't have time to go to the gym. It's not so much about energy, like just priorities, and it has like this like anxiety inducing feeling that like I'm just not doing enough, and it is like a guilty feeling. So yeah, for sure. And I think that comes with like just it being such a big part of your life that like you said, like it's just your personality. It's like a piece of you.
Yeah. And another piece of research actually shows that people with a stronger athletic identity actually experience greater like emotional distress when they can't train through it. And I think it's just something to be aware of, and so that you don't punish yourself if you don't train, because it is part of your identity. It is part of who you are. And of course, if that's not something, if what you're telling yourself and what you're doing don't align, it is going to be hard on yourself. But you just need to be aware, I think, and you need to be flexible about it to ensure that you're not overstepping that boundary into detrimental mental health space.
You should take your own advice, really.
I think so too.
We all have struggles, and
yeah.
we're all working on them. So,
hello, Munchkins. Welcome to the Eleva's Chat podcast. I'm Katie.
okay, so we've got Katie on, if you can tell. Little intro. You might have seen some of our crackhead videos from the summer. We were literally just talking about
Baddies on bars.
Baddies on bars.
Hello.
Comment down below if you want that to be realised.
Can we just make t-shirts and screw the rest of it? Just make t-shirts.
Yeah, why not? We're coming out with Baddies on bars t-shirts.
We're just a merch brand, actually.
Yeah.
So
Loki, why not?
yeah, why not?
Okay, guys, we're rebranding Baddies on Bob Squad. Baddies on bars. Hit us up. We're now doing merch rather than whatever we're
gonna do. Rather than hanging out and putting a name behind it.
Yeah,
basically.
we were gonna craft parallettes, which I still think we should do. That would be really
Let's
fun.
do it.
Why don't we just sell cute parallettes?
Real. Let's do it. We'll be an apparel brand or something.
Yeah,
why not? Honestly, Bob, Baddies on bars.
Yeah.
Calisthenics apparel brand coming at you soon. Watch this space.
Put it in your calendar.
2026.
Right.
Oh god.
Okay, I think we should start with the snacks.
Yeah,
Great. Okay, Katie, do you want to talk us through?
Okay.
This is your favourite snack.
Yeah, so they asked me what my favorite snack was, and I took that a little too literally. I probably should have said something prepackaged,
No,
but
it's fine.
the vibes. So my favorite snack is dates with salted butter inside because I'm a gym bro, and you know it's healthy and it's also delicious. So yeah.
So that's what we've got.
That's what they've
fueling
brought.
us, fueled by dates and salted butter.
Can't go silent.
That was really good.
Okay, thank you guys. I don't really know how you can mess it up, to be fair.
There was a lot of butter in it, but
There
it
was a lot
was
of
good.
butter, sorry guys.
It's fine. It's a sizable amount.
I don't know how much you put.
A little bit less, but this works.
I mean,
That's actually delicious. Okay, ready for the questions?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. Hey guys. Sorry. I'm not used to the whole camera in my face. Okay, the camera's not there. So, my name is Katie. I am 20 years old. I'm a third-year history student at Queen Mary, and yeah, I do calisthenics and other methods of training. I guess you could call me a hybrid athlete, maybe. Only recently, though, guys, my cardio isn't very good. But yeah, that's me. What else? I'm in a rock band, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, we'll link everything associated to Katie down below.
Oh yeah, shameless plug, you know.
Yeah, of course.
How did fitness come into your life?
Oh, okay. So
talk us through your entire fitness journey and then where you are now.
Okay, it's a long journey. So when I think I was 6 or 7. Sorry.
6, maybe 7.
I didn't even mean that until it came out of my mouth, and
It's fine.
Anyways, so when I was 6 or 7, my mom put me into a gymnastics club, and basically forced me to do it. But I actually started enjoying it. So I progressed with that. So from the age of 7 till I'd say 10, I was doing normal gymnastics, sportive, I guess. I don't know what it's called. Artistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this was in France, by the way, so that's why I don't know the names.
She's an international queen.
Yeah, international. And then I got asked if I wanted to start doing acrobatic gymnastics, which is basically like duos and trios. It's like hand-to-hand acrobatics. And I was like, that looks really cool. So yeah, I signed up for that. I did it semi-professionally for like 4 years, I think. Yeah, from the age of 10 till 14. I competed in a bunch of competitions in France, and I also was in the circus, so that's fun.
So cool.
It was like the new generation circus. That's what it was called. Basically, just younger people. Yeah, and then I moved to the UK to go to boarding school when I was 14, and unfortunately, I quit all sports for like 2 years because I did dance, so I guess that's a sport, but it wasn't very like I wasn't doing like push-ups or anything like that. I wasn't really I wasn't really training much. I didn't do any cardio apart from dance. And then after boarding school, I went to COVID happened. That was a weird time. Forgot that happened. Very strange time. During that time, I tried to go on a few runs to like, you know, help my mental health or whatever. That didn't stick very long. But yeah, and so I didn't do any sports from the ages of 14 to 16. I think that I'm trying to even remember. Did I do anything? Basically, up until I was 18, I didn't really do much. I just kind of took like quite a long break. I would here and there I'd go on a run.
Yeah.
And like I'd do some push-ups, maybe pull-ups, who knows.
Yeah.
But pretty much I didn't do much. And then when I was 18, I started uni and I was like, I really want to get back into gymnastics because I don't know, I was having like an existential crisis. And I was like, I need to get fit again. And I went to my uni's welcome fair and I was like, where's the gymnastics club? And there wasn't one.
Really?
No, yeah, there isn't one at Queen Mary.
That's crazy.
There's no gymnastics society. So I was like,
that's mental to me.
Yeah. So then I looked for the closest I could find, which was between cheerleading and calisthenics. And I looked at the cheerleaders and I thought, why are they all blonde? And then I thought maybe not for me. And then and then I joined calisthenics.
It's a good choice.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Yeah, no. That's pretty insane that they didn't have a gymnastics club, but they had calisthenics.
I know, it's weird.
Really strange.
I don't know. I think someone like set it up because of their interest in Cali, but weirdly nobody's interested in gymnastics at my uni.
Interesting.
I know.
But your uni is very like calisthenics like
focused.
Yeah, I think a lot of people from like the London calisthenics scene are all predominantly at your uni.
Yeah,
I feel like it centers a lot around them and like their friendships, I think.
Yeah,
I think.
No, definitely. I think the reason for that is like street workout as a whole is like very big in East London, and my uni's in East London, and there's loads of calisthenics parks around there, like Shadwell Basin and then the one Wennington Green. So I guess the community itself is quite big in East London, and that carries on to our uni as well. Also, like the founding members of the QM Cali Club did a very good job at actually, coaching and making a community out of it. So there were like loads of consistent members through the years, and also, I don't remember their names, but yeah, I know that they passed it on to Riyadh.
Yeah. Are they still in the calisthenics scene in London?
I don't know. I don't know. They're
generations
ago.
Do you wanna tell the subscribers what you're currently training and if you have any goals you're trying to work towards right now?
Okay, I have so many goals that it's like overwhelming. But right now, yeah. So right now I'm training. Well, recently I've been focused a lot on cardio and getting better at running. but the problem is I have like chronic shin splints. So no matter how much, yeah, it's actually horrific because no matter how much I want to run, I actually can't. Because yeah, I went to a physio and they were like, you need to stop. They were like, take 2 weeks off, and I was like, okay. And then what did I do today? Go for a run by accident, but doesn't matter.
By accident.
Well, I showed up to.
Okay, but she would have said that. Imagine you being chased on the street and like, I went on an accident.
So yeah, that was a run.
Can you move up?
Oh wait! Stop chasing me! I just need to get my Strava out. So I've been trying to improve my cardio and be able to run without getting shin splints. So that's a work in progress. Like my goal is to be able to run like 10K comfortably. So that's the goal. Right now it's very uncomfortable. Running 10K is very uncomfortable. I just die. So yeah. And also in terms of Cali, I've been basically working towards a straight bar muscle up. I can do a struggle up, you know, where you like chicken wing, but unfortunately I haven't figured out how to do a proper like straight clean muscle up. I think I did one once, but it was a fluke and I just can't replicate it. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of like weighted pull-ups and actually explosive pull-ups. So like pull up and you let go of the bar at the top, and then
Yeah.
That's sick, yeah.
And then in terms of push strength, I've been doing a lot of handstands, one-arm handstands. Very recently, Bosu Ball one-arm handstand.
I saw that.
Yeah, because Alexander Stanexi like came to our Cali session and he brought his Bosu Ball. So I was like, oh my god, let me try that. So yeah, I've been trying one-arm handstands. A lot of like, unfortunately, like just shifting weight from one arm to the other. It's so boring. You're just in a handstand for ages. What else have I been doing? Boxing recently. So like I do group classes and I actually don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of punching people and hoping it lands. It's good cardio though, and it doesn't give me shin splints. So it's like important to keep up your cardio, guys. Other than that, I do leg days twice a week as well. Just because, you know, like I don't want to look like an actual Dorito. Yeah. Oh yeah, goals. Right, goals. Planche. Yes. So I can do right now. I'm stuck on piked straddle planche. So it's like where your hips are up. So it doesn't really look like a planche, but it's really hard, guys. And I want to get to a straddle planche by 2027.
I feel like you've so got that. You progress quite quick in Cali.
Yeah, true, but also like I keep getting injured, so that's especially with planche because I get like the injury down my forearm. It's so painful.
I can't. As soon as I like start doing like literally handstands to Elsa, it's like this whole thing.
Oh my god, yeah, I feel you. And also, goal is what the hell is that called? Straddle press. Yeah. In French it's called endo, so that like means nothing to you, but anyway. Yeah. So I want to get an endo again because I used to be able to do them back in my gymnastics days. I used to also be able to straddle planche, so basically just trying to go back to my old skills. One arm handstand, be able to hold it for like, I want to hold it for like 6 seconds. I don't know why 6 seconds. It's because it feels like eternity when you're upside down, but it doesn't look like eternity on camera, unfortunately. Yeah, those are pretty much my goals. I have more, but those are the main ones.
Any competitions that you want to do?
If the what are they called now?
TCA.
If the TCA, I was gonna use the old name. Yeah. If the TCA holds a calisthenics competition, I mean, I'll definitely enter. Probably for both reps and statics because I've been training reps more now. So I'm like, might as well try and compete. Yeah.
That'll be cool. I feel like they would.
Yeah, I feel like they should.
Very like university associated. I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think it was an annual thing for them.
Yeah, I think
So
I don't see why they wouldn't do
yeah,
it.
yeah, neither.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges that you came across your journey, and like what kind of made you stop when you were 16? Did you
Oh.
say 14?
Yeah.
One of those
14 to
ages,
18.
yeah.
I kind of didn't do much. Challenges. Firstly, moving to a new country was a bit was a bit stressful. And also the fact that my boarding school was very regimented on like what we had to do every day, and it was like I had no time of my own to really decide. So dance classes were built into the curriculum as like, you know, sports, I guess.
Right. Okay.
So it wasn't really my choice. I just didn't have time to do sports. Also, they didn't have gymnastics, and I was like, well, what else am I gonna do? And then when I like COVID, I just again the gymnasium was closed because I went back home during COVID,
Right. Okay.
and it was closed. So I was like, well, you know, like what am I gonna do now? So yeah, I tried running, didn't really stick with me, unfortunately. My sister is now like a hill runner, and she's like,
hill runner.
yeah, as in she runs like ultra marathons through the mountains, and
That's insane.
she's insane.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this in the summer.
That's so cool.
She's insane. So she stuck to running during COVID. I didn't, but very proud of her. And how far she's come. But yeah, she keeps saying, let's do a marathon together, and I'm like, a marathon? I haven't even run a half marathon.
Do the half first and then.
Yeah.
I'm convinced.
Yeah. If my shin splints ever go away, maybe they're like a sign that I should just not be running. The universe just doesn't want me to be running. What was the question? I've like forgotten.
Challenges.
Oh right, challenges. Yeah, I mean, when I did like GCSEs and A levels, I was very locked in on studying for some reason. Even though I look back on it, I'm like, what the hell? That was so easy. Like,
Yeah.
trying to try and do my uni work. But yeah, back then it seemed like very important to lock in, so I locked in, and I didn't really live the most healthy lifestyle, to be honest with you. A lot of energy drinks were consumed, a lot of caffeine. I was given independence at a very young age, so I guess it wasn't very healthy for those years. I didn't eat very well. So that was, I guess, a challenge. Also, I had a knee disease, Osgood-Schlatter's disease. It's now like pretty much gone because it goes when you fully finish growing, like your growth plates fuse. But it would prevent me from doing like impact sports. So yeah, I did play a bit of football in boarding school. Weirdly, like I was a goalkeeper though because I couldn't run properly.
You were a goal.
Yeah,
Really?
I saved one goal. I remember it was like crazy. Okay, yeah, no, that's a good few challenges you've had.
What did you learn from your challenges? Like, is there anything that you'd take from that and put it forwards, or anything you'd do differently?
Don't let go of the sport that you love as a kid. Like that's a big thing. Like I regret taking such a long break from gymnastics, because if I'd continued with it, guys, I would be doing like 2-finger planche by now. No, but
I feel like you so would as well. Because your progress, like every time we see you, it's like unlocks a new skill.
That's because I'm like I've got the muscle memory for it. I think because I was so strong when I was a kid. Like I genuinely think
You're still so strong now.
Yeah, but I was like relatively stronger.
Kids' strength is on another level though.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see those videos of like the 5-year-olds and
Like,
they're like
fully planching? You're like,
literally.
Yeah. I have just muted myself and I don't know how that happened. There you go, it's on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the challenge or advice, I guess, that I'd give is
that's good, yeah.
don't quit.
I agree. I don't think if you have a passion for something, because mine is like rhythmic gymnastics too, I feel like you shouldn't. I don't know. I feel like it's so hard to let go of something that you love so much.
Fair.
I hear that.
And also it's because like as a kid you kind of think of it as like, oh, the sports I did as a kid, but like why not carry it out into adult life? I feel like most people, they say like, oh, I did that when I was younger. It's like, why don't you continue doing it now? It's because, I mean, I guess you get really busy and stuff, but I think it's so important to keep up like exercise in your routine, and if it's something you love, then even better. Like I see Cali in gymnastics as, this might be a controversial take, but like very similar.
It is very similar. Like a lot of the basics and the foundations to it is really similar, and it's the same kind of motion in a way.
That is why I chose Cali as like after gymnastics, because I feel like it's like obviously not the exact same, but it's like the like your body is essentially doing similar things. Why is it so close? There's like similar things, and it's like the same movements and stuff. Yeah.
I'd also say that like the community in Cali is much better than the community in gymnastics.
100%.
Because in gymnastics, like it was very
Dance
toxic.
moms.
Yeah.
And for like literal dance moms, like
Yeah. Yeah, the vibe was very toxic. So when I like went to my first calisthenics session, I remember thinking, wow, these people are so like friendly. Like, why is no one competing
Everyone
against
helps
each other?
as well.
Yeah, and they're so like welcoming to beginners as well. And like now that I coach at Queen Mary, like I have a women's only session that I run, and it's like mainly beginners, and I find it so I don't know, I love it because I get to like basically see people build their strength from the ground up.
is there anything that helps you stay consistent with your training?
Pure willpower. No, I'm joking. I guess accessibility. So I make it as easy as possible for myself to go and train. Like I prepare all my gym clothes the night before. I have it like laid out there. And in the morning, the last thing I want to do is think about what to wear. So I see it and I'm like, great. I put it on and then, oh, well, I'm already in gym clothes. I might as well go to the gym because where else am I going to go? Yeah. So that helps. I'd say like the fact I have a pull-up bar here helps. You can't. I don't think you can see it on camera.
A whole like.
I've got a freestanding pull-up bar. Yeah, got a rig.
It's massive as well.
Yeah.
Dips on it as well.
Yeah, you can, but they're a bit.
So
it's a bit
wide.
wide. Yeah. So I mean, I mainly use it for like pull-ups, and I also I have a weighted vest somewhere there, and I do like weighted pull-ups on the days where I can't be bothered to go to the gym, because sometimes it just happens, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, staying consistent. I guess just having a love for like sport, and also I just don't feel like I feel really stressed and on edge unless I've had like a good workout.
Yeah.
So for me it's more like almost a survival thing. Like if I haven't had a workout, like for example when I'm in an exam season and I neglect working out, I just feel even more stressed. So I've like realized, you know, it's better to take that time to go to the gym and then have like, you know, a chill day for the rest of the day.
So have you ever struggled with pressure, comparison, or expectations around fitness?
Definitely. Yeah. In terms of pressure, when I was a kid, it was like really a lot of pressure. Because I was competing, obviously, and there was definitely a pressure with like weight. So I was doing acrobatic gymnastics. So, I was a flyer, which means I had to be really light. And I was also quite tall, so I had to be even skinnier than the other girls. So I was like literally forced to cut my weight at such a young age and like, you know, go on a diet, literally. So that was quite, you know, that was a lot of pressure to put on a kid. Definitely like stuck with me. And I had like some eating problems throughout my teenage life, which I think are now fully gone, but definitely like being told, you know, you need to be this weight and you need to, perform at this high level. It was like
wired into
very stressful as a kid. So yeah, there's that. I guess I used to get compared a lot to like the other people at gymnastics. I mean, I think that's just a gymnastics thing. I don't know why it's such a toxic environment. Like I always felt that the girls weren't really supportive of each other. It was more like secretly in competition always, right?
100%.
No, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, with acrobatic gymnastics, it was a little bit more friendly because we were in like duos and trios and stuff. So you kind of have to. At least you have one person is like looking at your best interests, right? But there was definitely a lot of competition and a lot of like toxic competition. I remember like in locker rooms and stuff, like girls just being rude to each other, especially like commenting on each other's bodies, like body image at such a young age as well. It's like, wow, why are we talking about all this? It gave me a lot of insecurities from a young age, and definitely took a long time to get over it. I'd say more recently I've struggled with like body image in terms of I was really, really skinny. I was like 40 something kilos up until I think anyways I was just under 50 kilos up until like 2 years ago when I started like actually gaining weight. In the last year I've gained like 15 kilos. So I'm like I'm now at a weight where I feel much more healthy and like comfortable, but every time I look in the mirror I get a bit like I just see my old self and I'm like did I prefer that? Because like face fat and stuff. So it's hard. I struggle with it. With like self-image, and also the fact that I get told by random people like, you look like a man with your huge muscles.
I think that's so, because it's always
or like family members too. Really? But
that's not nice to hear. I feel like I don't know why that's such a common comment.
It is so common.
Why else are females given muscles? Like, we wouldn't be given muscles if it was to look like men as well. Like, they're there for a reason and they're there to make you stronger. Like, there's no point, like, as well, it's really subjective, and I just think it's stupid.
I agree. And I'm like, I've started, my like journey with body image kind of started with looking at like muscle mommies on Instagram and being like, damn, low key, I kind of want to be like that. Instead of like super skinny, I started kind of reframing it in my mind, being like, if I look super jacked, firstly, I don't have any curves naturally. But like Loki going to the gym has given me at least something, right? Like at least something. So that's one thing. And also just in general, I think I feel way more powerful and like I feel like a threat. I feel like a threat. I'm dangerous.
No, I so get that, because I think the beauty with like training, even if you don't do it for aesthetic purposes, is that you can actually build yourself into who you want to be. Like, you can like shape yourself quite literally as well, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I actually had something to say. No, I just think that the way I think about it a lot is like, because back when I used to do gymnastics, obviously my upper body was like so skinny, like I could like see my spine and like everything. But then I think about it and it's like, I would so much rather have the physique I have now and be able to do the things I can do with that physique than like be like my skinnier self who like couldn't do like a pull-up and stuff.
You can't even eat that much. Like, we didn't eat a lot at all.
I was just like, because I would like, what? So you ate like a little bit more one week and then get told that you like look like you've gained massive amounts of weight and that like,
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, it's so toxic.
Yeah.
Gymnastics.
Yeah, because I think when we trained in Russia, like we didn't have to do it because we weren't part of the club. But I remember hearing the girls talking about how they were weighed like every training or every week,
And they were.
and they were like stressed that they drank too much water.
That's
Because
horrible.
They weigh in heavier, and then they get punished. Like they have to do more conditioning, more cardio.
Yeah, that's the
Because of
thing. We
that.
got punished with conditioning as well. I was like, climb the rope.
Yeah,
How many rope climbs?
double
You know,
jump.
yeah.
That's so hard. Rope climb.
We had
Yeah.
climb the rope. We had toes to bar, but with ankle weights, and we had like loads of core exercises. I don't even remember, but I just remember suffering from it. Oh, and by the way, maximum handstand holds. That was like torture because they made you do it against the wall just so you could hold it like until genuinely like you physically just collapse onto your head. Yeah, I still remember those days.
That's terrifying.
I guess that's why I was so strong.
Yeah.
When I think about it.
Yeah, I mean it would shape you. Like it does shape you, but it shouldn't be a punishment for
drinking water.
literally weighing a tiny bit more when you're also a growing child.
That's-
Bearing in mind this is said to like 8 to 12-year-olds when they're growing.
I remember being told stuff at like the age of like 6. It's like I don't even understand. Like I literally can't even like tell my right from my left.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, I remember being told that like my bum was bigger than some like mums.
Oh no!
No, because I was like, and then we look back at pictures like from trainings, and we were like, why were we actually scared? Like we were sticks. Like we were so skinny back then as well, and it's kind of scary that like a grown woman was like, yeah, you're too fat. To a kid who was literally like this.
Yeah, no.
I think that's insane. Like I get that a lot of it because we did rhythmic gymnastics, and yeah, okay, a lot of it is aesthetics, and it's like easier for you to do jumps and spins when you're lighter, but there's a line, guys.
Not even that. Like everyone is just built differently. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Some girls were just naturally like. I don't know. I just find it so weird. It's just so weird.
Yeah, I agree. I remember for me, it wasn't. They wouldn't weigh us, but they would show us the costumes we had to fit into, and they like pre-ordered them, for the circus. And I remember looking at it and being like, "That's not gonna fit me." And they were like, "Well, make it fit you, because this is the only option." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's horrible.
That's
And then I made it fit me, but like just barely. Like genuinely, I don't know what was wrong with them.
Yeah, because we'd get measured for our live and then every time you get a measurement, you'd get a comment like alongside.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, your waist is like 2 more centimeters from
Like,
compared to like 2-3 years ago when you were 5.
Yeah.
Crazy
How dare you? It's like your bones are growing. How could you?
And also when you're at such a young age, you don't get the concept that much of like growing up and that you are going to be like getting bigger, because your frame of mind and your reference is so narrow. And then when that's drilled into your head going, oh yeah, you gained this from like when you were a child, you're like, oh, so that's a bad thing. Like I'm not meant to be growing. Like I don't know, it's spooky behavior, man.
It is booky. You have some like crazy growth spurt.
Adults as well. That's what I find mental. It's from like grown ass adults who
They've had a sad life.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you project that onto other children. Like you're meant to be protecting these children from going through the same stuff that you have done, and like especially for those who train so much, like you're training like 4 or 5 hours every day. You're their primary like caretaker in a way, and their primary guardian at some points, like other than school. And then you're telling them like crazy stuff like that and like damaging how they think about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, literally, gymnastics like made me like stunted my growth because of how little I was eating and how much exercise I was doing. It was just not healthy. Like when I stopped gymnastics, one of the main reasons I like stopped and did nothing is because like burnt out. I
Yeah.
was just so tired of it. Like if they had approached it in a better manner, like I wouldn't have, you know, quit as like hardcore as I did.
Yeah.
And also, I like as soon as I quit, I grew like
No, same.
I shot up and
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
And I was like 16 as well. I like
Mhm.
had like the craziest growth spurt at like 16.
Yes, same. Like I think mine came about 14, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. And I literally think I looked about like I looked at least 3 years younger than I was at those ages, and then suddenly out of nowhere I like looked like a teenager. And my mom was like, what the hell? And then I like dyed my hair black and started going insane, but you know, we don't talk about that.
Have you ever confused discipline with self-worth?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I guess I definitely tie my self-worth to my discipline a lot more than I should, to be honest. If I don't go to the gym because I'm just not feeling like it, I beat myself up for it afterwards because I'm like, should have went. You know. And then it obviously makes me feel like, I don't know, I guess, yeah, my self-image definitely relies a lot on discipline, not just with the gym, with like everything really. So like if I don't study, if I procrastinate assignments, you know,
Yeah.
then they're done that. Yeah. I guess it just kind of, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Because you feel like your actions are who you are, right?
Yeah.
But then again, you have to be kinder to yourself and like realize, okay, I deserve a break sometimes. Sometimes I'm just not feeling up for something. But I find that hard to do to myself. I preach, but I do not practice.
Welcome to the club.
I agree.
When, if ever, did you feel pressure to keep going, like even when you weren't mentally okay, or like when you were struggling with mental health, if you ever were?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Last year, I had like a lot of dips in my mental health, a lot of ups and downs. In terms of training with that, I definitely took time off, and I felt like a lot of pressure to perform because I was also on like committee for calisthenics, and I just felt like I was losing all my skills, even though I was still training just very minimally, like once a week probably, but that's all I could handle at that moment. Like I wasn't doing very well mentally, and just too much stress with uni and everything else. But I kind of, yeah, I kind of realize now that like if I was going through a period like that, where I didn't, feel at my best, training low-key would save me out of it. Which is why I try not to like compromise on my training now. But I definitely felt like pressure to train and didn't enjoy it for a while because of that. But now that I reframed in my mind to see training as like something that helps me out of ruts, it's, I guess, yeah.
Was there anything else that kind of helped you through those times, or like looking back on it? Because I feel like when you're in it, you don't really understand what helps you. But if you were to look back, what would you either do differently, or what would you do more of, less of?
I would definitely hang out with people more, because I kind of isolated myself from everybody. Because I thought, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want, I'm not as cheery as I usually am. People aren't going to want to hang out with me when I'm in that state. Like, I now realize, after actually opening up to friends and stuff about, mental health, I realize that people are going through similar things and probably thinking the same thing as you are. And it's important to be there for each other, basically. And do not isolate yourself if you're not doing well mentally, because that just makes it worse. And then you're in your own echo chamber of your own thoughts, and it's very hard to escape that unless you actually hang out with other people. Also, music really helped me. Just like creating music, putting my negative emotions into music. That's like basically hobbies and friends.
they have it. That's it. No, I'm joking. No, that's really helpful to know as well, because I feel like a lot of people do isolate, and I can attend to that, where it's kind of difficult because you don't really want to pass that energy on, but then you're just spiraling yourself and you're making it worse, and then you just get into like a feedback loop where it's detrimental to you and also like your relationships as well with your friends, because you start to isolate yourself from them, not speak to them as much, and then like after a certain point people do have a limit, like they can't bear everything and they're not responsible for your actions, and sometimes they will like come off, but just making them aware as well of what you're going through, I think helps.
No, I just think like if you've got the right people around you and you've got people you can trust and you know who, like, you know they'll be there for you the whole time, then like 100% you shouldn't isolate yourself. Yeah. Anyways, was there a specific moment that made you seek help or like change direction?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was the very end, the summer of the end of my first year of uni. I I went through a pretty bad breakup, and that kind of propelled me to like completely do a 180 with my life. I like stopped doing all the unhealthy habits that I had. I started eating healthy. I started going to the gym way more consistently. I like completely did a 180, gained a lot of weight, but in like obviously in a good way. And yeah, I mean, so I guess the thing that propelled that was a breakup. but like it was more like a revenge against my old self type of situation. Yeah, guys, breakups are great.
Don't take advice from me.
Yeah, don't take advice from me on that.
No, but if it's not serving you, then it's like, sorry, do you mind if there's this like theory, like the fresh start theory, which is regarding New Year's as well, where it's like a starting point, it's like a new chapter in your life, and something like a breakup would kind of like kickstart that, and it's easier for people to change themselves at that point in time. So if there is anything significant like that, if like even if you're moving places, that's a good, like it's a good like initial motivator, I think, to actually like 180 your life basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say a similar thing. Like it gives you like an opportunity to just like look back and like focus back on yourself and like like I don't know, reflect and make changes, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that you broke up with them, or they broke up with you. You went through that breakup, because you're here now, and
Exactly.
it seems like you're thriving. Thriving. There we go. Yeah. If you want to speak about a bit about like what recovery has looked like for you as well, like you mentioned a lot about gaining the weight. What did that kind of feel like? Because I feel like that's kind of, it's a tough thing to do, especially when it's so hardwired into your brain that you need to be skinny.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult because I was my own biggest critic, I guess. But I had like a really good support network around me. My flatmate helped a lot. She'd always be like, "Damn, you look so good with those muscles and stuff," which like it seems like a small thing, but it really like helped my self confidence, you know. And also, literally going. I know that people say that like Instagram can like ruin your self image, but for me, it like helped because there's so many muscular women on Instagram who I was like, damn, I love their aesthetic. I love like everything about them, and I want to look like that rather than idolizing like the really skinny like you know body type. So I guess the internet helped me find see that there are other body types out there.
I didn't, I actually like, personally for me, like social media is like for body image, it's not the best. That like actually it does help some people because it like shows them that like
you don't have to look the way you were like hardwired to
Yeah.
for so long, that there are other things that you can look like and that you can strive towards in a way.
Yeah. I mean, like, eating itself was actually very difficult. Like, my stomach did not want to, like, because obviously after eating, like, basically your stomach gets used to however much you're eating, and you have to literally make it expand in order to eat more. So I would eat like 5 meals a day, but like small ones throughout the day. I really tried, like, I'd have like bulking shakes. It's like just like blending up cookies and like random things. Not the healthiest, but it worked. And instead of like doing, because I tried at first to track my calories, to like, I had to reach this certain amount of calories. I did that for a while, and then I realized like how unproductive that actually is, because you get so stressed if you don't hit your calorie goal. And like, I just stopped tracking altogether, and I have to eat 3 meals a day. That's my like rule. And after I train, I have to eat like a big meal. Like, for example, I came back from boxing, I had like 4 eggs and bread. Just like, and avocado. That's like my go-to. Just like, sometimes I'll have an omelet with like 6 eggs, and it's like, that's a lot of eggs.
Eggs and feta cheese.
Oh, so good.
Changes your whole entire. If you've got the egg ick, or even if you love eggs, add some feta cheese in there. Game changer. Honestly, game changer.
Sounds delish. I like poached eggs. Poached eggs don't give me the egg ick at all for some reason.
Yeah, we've not had poached eggs in ages. Yeah, what gives me the egg ick are boiled eggs and fried eggs. Scrambled eggs, not so much.
No, scrambled eggs give me the egg ick. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's because when I cook them too much, and then they like become
rubbery, right?
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah, just don't overcook them.
But then sometimes I'll like undercook it, and they'll be like.
No, scrambled eggs are your issue.
I know,
but I remember a distinct moment when I got my first egg ick, and it was eating a boiled egg, and I actually just wanted to throw up.
No, stop! You know those little egg pots that they sell in Sainsbury's?
Yeah.
I got my first egg ick trying to eat that, because I was like, what's a healthy snack? I was like, yeah, boiled eggs sounds great. I don't know how they cook them, but they were actually disgusting.
Do you know what? Sometimes I do, from like, if you're on the go, I get like the chicken packs.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just,
no, that gives me the ick.
That's so fair, but I'd rather eat that than the boiled eggs, because I feel like there's less to go. Actually,
no,
I don't think there is less to go wrong, but I just prefer them.
I don't know. I get really scared of pre-cooked chicken. I don't know why. It's just like,
I get that.
Like, when did you cook it? Like, you know,
yeah. How long has it been?
Yeah, exactly.
I get really freaked out about like meat in general sometimes.
Like, same.
Like a thought will just enter my mind, and that'll be it. Like, I can't eat it. Like, I actually can't.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I didn't eat red meat until like maybe 6 months ago.
Really?
Yeah. My entire life I didn't eat any red meat because I grew up vegetarian until and like vegan. I fluctuated between vegetarian, vegan, and pescatarian, and then I went to Japan and I tried Kobe beef. It's like the best fucking beef. And then I realized, oh my god, this is like magical. I've been missing out my whole life.
Yeah.
So, but it took me so long to get my taste buds used to like red meat. Like at first I would just like, I just couldn't.
Well, so it takes longer to digest than white meat and fish. Like, it just takes a while longer.
Yeah, it definitely gave me some stomach
I feel like it would, especially if you've not actually gotten used to it since a younger age. Your digestion is just not. It's like a shock to it.
Yeah, no.
Like, what is this? But yeah, no. Good for you. Like, you're back on your red meat. I'm just an advocate for steak.
I love steak. I wish it wasn't so expensive.
I know, it's horribly expensive, but it's so good.
What is it, like £7 for a steak at Sainsbury's? And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I don't get why.
I could get like a takeaway meal for that.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. This is another issue for another day, but the fact that healthy food is so expensive in comparison to unhealthy food and fast food. And then there's complaints about obesity rates. Like,
I know, right?
It's a problem in the system. Like,
definitely.
It's just not convenient for people who are like on I'm gonna stop myself. I'm gonna go down a spiral on this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think we've got a last part to this, and it's something that we do with our star of the month, because we're doing this once a month for a bit, and it's like star. So we're going through each of the letters. So, have you had a standout moment in training recently? Just something like noteworthy that you either learned from or you've reflected upon.
I guess be like weighted pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't trained them in a while, and then the other day I was like, let me try 20 kilos. I've never done that in my life, by the way. I just thought, let me try. I got 1 rep, so
that's insane. Well done. Okay, so what was the teachable moment from it? Like, what did you realize having done that?
That, like, not to put yourself down, because for me, whenever I don't train something for a while, I start to think to myself like, oh, I've completely lost that skill. But I don't realize that I'm using the same muscles in like different exercises just because I'm not training that exact thing. Like, I guess the lesson is like, don't beat yourself up, and you probably are stronger than you think. I mean, I tend to underestimate my own strength a lot.
That's nice. Application. So how will this now impact you in your training, do you think, like looking back on it?
I guess I'll try and talk down on myself less before doing exercises. I don't really know, but like be more confident in my own abilities. That's what
Sorry, we're putting you on the spot here.
No.
And finally, reflection. Is there any advice that you'd give to others from this? I feel like you've kind of covered it.
Yeah.
Anyways, but do you want to reiterate it one more time?
Yeah, I mean, just believe in yourself.
Everyone say bye to Katie.
Bye. This is crazy. I can't believe this is gonna be on the internet forever.
No, you did well. We're really proud of you. Thank you for sharing. We really appreciate it. Okay, so coming to the end of our episodes, we want to give you something of value to take away from this. So we're going to give you a few tips each as to what we think, what we think we should do, rather than what we think you should do.
Giving ourselves advice.
Self-evaluation. And you can take this away, and hopefully it will be of benefit to at least one person. That's all that we want. We just want to help you guys even understand, like, hopefully the research section of this was helpful to understand maybe why you are feeling so irritable, maybe why you are comparing yourself so much. We're not trying to enforce any of this on you. This is also, as we mentioned, this is for ourselves. So these tips, I think, we should do for ourselves.
Yeah, they're reflections. Reflection time.
And take away what you want to take away, leave what you want to leave. Do you want to start?
Yeah. Probably my main tip for myself especially would be so cautious of what kind of content you consume online, and really reflect on how it impacts you, not even so immediately, but throughout your day, your week, whatever. Like, really try to think about how it could subconsciously impact you. And I know it's hard, but like, if you must, just take a step away from it all. Like,
took my first point.
Yeah.
My first point would have been take a step back from social media, just delete it. You're not missing out on anything. Like, tell your friends if you're going to do that. Tell people that maybe you communicate with on social media that you're going to take a step back, and actually take that step back for a week. Another thing I'd say to myself is establish an identity outside of the gym. Have hobbies that are outside of the gym. I know it's so tempting
to go all into one thing, especially if you want to see progress, if you want to actually do well in one thing, but try and find things that you enjoy. I've picked up baking, and it's not baking for myself. I like to bake for others.
Insane.
So hit me up. Sorry. It's baking for others. If you guys want me to make you anything, feel free to drop it in the comments below. I'm gonna perfect my cinnamon rolls.
They're perfect. Sorry, there's no perfection. They're perfect.
And just make them exquisite. I'm also trying to play piano, but even then, my focus is still on the gym. So I think my main priority this month of February is to step into something new alongside the gym, like with flowers blooming something else. Sorry guys, had to do it.
You've been cooking that one up since the beginning.
I'm actually not.
Okay.
Came with me.
I think mine would be that, like, remember that your life is yours and you're like on your own path. No one else is in your body, no one else is living the life that you live. So everything you see, always come back to yourself and think, I am me.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain that.
It's like we talked about earlier. You stop chasing what's not yours, because
exactly. Stop chasing what's not yours.
Because nothing anyone else has is yours.
Yeah.
Like, you can take inspiration, take it, feel free to, because that's how you're gonna actually understand what you want from your life, but that isn't yours.
Yeah.
What they have, their income, their physique, their athletic performance, their performance in academics, it's not yours.
Just take my tip then, completely. I was sorry. Not so passive aggressive. But exactly, and remember that, like, everyone is on their own timeline. So
yeah,
like, your life is just is purely yours. It's not anyone else's, and
yeah,
you're fully in control of it.
Exactly. And I think, if you don't have another one,
I think those were just my main two.
mm-hmm.
They're pretty, like, big ones.
Yeah, I think I'll conclude with one.
Go on.
What I would say is focus on the long term. I think a lot of people including myself, get so wrapped up in what you can do in 3 months and 6 months, and you get so hyper fixated on your outcome in the short term that you don't actually realize that the long term is how it's all built. And you might get into these sporadic bursts of focus, of energy, to work on a short-term goal, which is all good, but make sure that you have the long-term outcome in the back of your mind, and actually understand that you can achieve a lot more in the long term than you can and you think you will, as opposed to you think you can do so much more than you can in the short term. And that's something that I need to work on, to reframe my mind, looking at the bigger picture, understanding that yes, it will take time. It's meant to take time. You're not meant to be able to do everything straight away, because what's life if you can do everything straight away? Like, you're meant to enjoy the process. You're meant to have the up and downs, whether that is in your training, in your academics, in anything, in your relationships with your families, your friends. There will be up and downs, and stop punishing yourself for the short term while you lack sight for the long term.
Yeah.
Anyways, we hope you've enjoyed this. We thank you so very much. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we do apologise that it is monthly. We will be back to the weeklies, but for the time being,
yeah,
it will be monthly. But thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
See you
hope
next
you
month.
have a blossoming February.
Yes. Bye, munchkins.